Hey, what is up, guys? I am here to give you another series of Wrestlemania review. This is going to be another DVD review, too. It is called The Greatest Superstars of Wrestlemania. Let me see if I can get you a close-up at the guys. It's hard to do this as my bed is higher now. But you see Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think that's The Undertaker. No, The Rock, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. So that, yeah, then we have on the side, it shows the greatest superstars of WrestleMania. On the back, it shows Undertaker, Chris Jericho giving Shawn Michaels the Walls of Jericho. Hulk Hogan giving the Rock Bottom, or the Hogan Bottom. John Cena about to give JBL the FU. And Bret Hart being held up by, I think that's Razor Ramon and Lex Luger when he won the WWF Championship. On the side, it's just the case. I'm going to show you the inside now at the stuff. The discs show the same thing as they did for the Mania cover. And then on the inside, you get a bunch of stuff. It shows, I'll even read it to you. Enter for a chance to win the 2008 DVD collection. Log on at DVD Survey, WWE.com. WWE DVD Survey Sweepstakes, no purchase necessary. Enter between 12:01 a.m. Eastern on November 13th, 2007 and 11:59 p.m. Eastern on January 15th, 2009. Open to United States residents 14 and older, or access to a DVD-ROM drive and the internet as of November 13th, 2007. Who receives this card inside an unmarked WWE DVD package for four grand prizes each, consisting of the 2008 WWE DVD collection. In parentheses, it says ARV $1,000. Then in the parentheses end. Void where prohibited. Sweepstakes subject to official rules. Available at www.dvdsurvey.wwe.com. Sponsor World Wrestling Entertainment Inc. 1241 East Main Street, Stamford, Connecticut 06902. TM and created 2007 World Wrestling Entertainment Inc. I felt like showing that because I'm I'm a dick. Then it says, then also what we have in here is, it says Demand Power. It has Triple H on the cover. Then it shows on the bottom Yokozuna. You can't really see. I think that's Triple H. Then it's Ken Shamrock giving the Rock the ankle lock. Ric Flair back in like the 80s, the Warlords, and Tatanka. And it says on it, Demand Power. Oh, on the back it shows all the pay-per-views listed, and it shows Bobby Lashley, Mr. Kennedy, Batista, Randy Orton, John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Kane, and Triple H. Then in the front it says, Demand Power. With WWE 24/7 on demand, you gain access to the world's largest wrestling library, including 40 hours each month of the best classics and current wrestling, new original shows and specials, the epic Monday Night Wars, and unforgettable matches featuring superstars from WWE, NWA, WCW, ECW, AWA, and others. Then it says WWE 24/7, WWE On Demand. Call 1-888 by WWE 24/7 to order today. Then on the bottom it shows like all the company's logos, and I'll even show you if I can get you close up. It shows WCW, AWA, ECW, Jim Cornette Promotions, Stampede Wrestling, World Class, WCW, WWF, and WWE. And then in the inside it shows the cover, the kind of like the printout of all the matches that are there. So now I'm going to go ahead. Actually, I have to take I'll put these back at the end. I'm going to go ahead now and read the back to you guys of this DVD. The biggest superstars shine the brightest on the grandest stage of sports entertainment. All professional wrestlers aspire to be in the main event of Wrestlemania, where they can achieve immortality. The greatest superstars of Wrestlemania highlights more than 10 matches featuring all-time greats of sports entertainment. That was all for that. So I'm gonna get right into it. It plays a video pack of the review. It plays a video package. Actually, I don't need. Hold on, I don't need this here anymore. But it plays a video package about what the DVD's about. They talk about Mania, and I usually don't write down what they say in the video packages. But Joey Styles said something that a line that I really like, and it said, if you don't want to main event WrestleMania, you shouldn't be a WWE superstar. I really liked that line because it was just a great line, and I think though it's kind of true. You shouldn't want to main event WrestleMania. Well, but I don't agree at the same time because I think right now I just want to be in WrestleMania. But I think main event in WrestleMania is more prestigious because you'll be talked about forever for main event in a WrestleMania. So then it talks about Hulk Hogan. What they do in this DVD is they give documentaries, then they show matches. So they did a little bit of a documentary on Hulk Hogan. It wasn't much, but it was enough. And I took some notes. It's on the computer. Hulk Hogan defined sports entertainment in the mid-'80s. He made wrestling famous and still today is the icon of professional wrestling. And it's true. He is the icon of professional wrestling. Like I said before, if I went somewhere and I asked someone who Hulk Hogan was, they would know who Hulk Hogan was. If you don't, you're fucked. You're just fucked. If you honestly don't know who Hulk Hogan is, you need to look in the mirror because and do your research, because if you don't know who Hulk Hogan is, you're in fucking trouble. And even Ric Flair said that Hulk Hogan is a household name and became bigger than professional wrestling, and he did. And then it gave you a little bit of a background. Hulk Hogan, and there's just some stuff I didn't even know about Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan grew up in Florida, a wrestling fan, and a love for entertainment. He wrestled in Florida and Memphis, and then he got the call from Vince McMahon, not the Vince McMahon now, his father Vince McMahon, to come to the WWF at that time. And when he started out, Hogan was managed by classic Freddie Blassie. If you don't know who he is, look him up. And had famous run-ins with Andre the Giant. This was before WrestleMania was even around, so they're not talking about WrestleMania 3. And after he left WWF, then he wrestled in Japan. Then in the end, then he went to the AWA, and he became a fan favorite. And he got noticed when he started having battles against Nick Bockwinkel, the AWA champion at that time. And I saw one of the matches, and I remember it was I don't really remember the match, but I remember the ending when Hulk Hogan threw him over the top rope, and he got disqualified. That was fucking stupid. But you never know. Wrestling was different back then. It was just stupid, though. I look at that. And then when the Vince McMahon Jr. they called him, bought the company from his father, Hogan came back to the WWF, and on January 23rd, 1984, in Madison Square Garden, he won the WWF Championship from the Iron Sheik. When Hulk Hogan was in the WWF, he was a fan favorite, and that created Hulkamania. And I kind of botched this. It was a year later. Hulk Hogan competed at the very first WrestleMania. You know, it was the tag match between Hulk Hogan and Mr. T versus Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. And over the next 6 years, Hulk Hogan became a 5-time WWF champion and headlined WrestleMania a number of times. Then after Hulk Hogan went to WCW and became the leader of the NWO. After WCW went out of business, he came back to the WWF, and he was the leader of the NWO again with Hall and Nash. And then at WrestleMania 18, Hulk Hogan, the fans were chanting for the old Hulk Hogan, so he became the Hulk Hogan he was before he left the WWF. And that's pretty much it for Hulk Hogan. Backstory. Then Hulk Hogan said to him, WrestleMania is the foundation of everything he has. It gave him everything, and he thought that wrestling was very good to him, and he was very good at wrestling. This was pretty much the same thing as the rest. I think it had this exact line in the True Story of WrestleMania DVD. But that was a little bit of a background information on Hulk Hogan. I like that they do that before, and then they have a match. Because then you have to sit, not that I don't like the documentaries, but then you have to sit there. I like it when they do documentaries, then they do a match. I like that, because then you get to watch some action, and I think it's just got a great flow of DVDs. So now let's get on with the first match. We have Sergeant Slaughter defending the World Wrestling Federation Championship against Hulk Hogan, and this match happened at Sergeant Slaughter, by the way, had a manager, and I had to looked up who he was. It was, I'm gonna exit this out. I'm exiting it out. Let me exit out. There we go. His name was General. I can't really read it. Hold on, I gotta. General Aid Nan. That's what I think it says. It might be Iraq. It might have an Iraq pronunciation to it though. And this match happened at WrestleMania 7 on March 24th, 1991. Now this match wasn't bad. Like, it actually had a great build to it. Sergeant Slaughter hated the United States. Pro-Iraq. This match happened, I think, during the Gulf World War. I think that I said that right, but if I did, I apologize. And Sergeant Slaughter said that that this got so far, someone wanted to kill him. I remember wanted to go to his house and actually kill him. So then Sergeant Slaughter went to the World West, built the Hulk Hogan, and this match was built great. And I heard that Hulk Hogan actually won the Royal Rumble to get this match. And I actually want to say the commentators for this match, by the way. It was Bobby the Brain Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon, and Brains Phil Ben, and he only did this match. And oh, hold on, Mom. This match, it wasn't bad, but for the build-up that it got, it wasn't it didn't really live up to the expectations. I think it could have been a little bit better than it was. But the match wasn't bad. It starts off with Hulk Hogan beat the shit out of him. Sergeant Slaughter even tried to hit him with a chair, but he failed. But then it ends up with Sergeant Slaughter beating up Hulk Hogan. He clotheslines him over the top rope, hits him with the chair when the referee doesn't see it. Then he starts dominating Hulk Hogan, and at one point, Sergeant Slaughter has Hulk Hogan pinned, but General Aid Nan gets on the apron so he doesn't get the pinfall. Then Sergeant Slaughter hits him in the head with a chair, and Hulk Hogan gets busted open. He goes for the pin, but he fails. He gets him in the camel clutch. Hogan gets out of it by lifting him up when he's on his back and going into the turnbuckle. But Slaughter tries to end it by putting the Iraq flag on him, but Hogan starts to Hulk up. He gives him the big boot, then the leg drop for the win. It was okay. It wasn't the greatest. And then we get an in-depth look at Batista, because he was the next one that made Mania great. Apparently, and Batista was trained by Alpha from the Wild Samoans. And his impressive physique caught the eye of the WWE and eventually Evolution. And the members of that group, for those of you that don't know, were Triple H, Ric Flair, and Randy Orton, and Batista. And Evolution took over WWE. They honestly did, because the group ended up holding all the titles on Raw, with Batista and Ric Flair being the World Tag Team Champions, Randy Orton being the Intercontinental Champion, and Triple H being the World Heavyweight Champion. And what I liked about Evolution is this. We had the Nexus. All they were was Wade Barrett's lackeys to get the WWE title, as Jarrett Drover says. But that's all they were. Nobody except for Wade Barrett in the group mattered. And then when CM Punk got in the group, nobody but CM Punk mattered. Then, Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater hold the tag team titles, but that didn't mean anything. Then we had the core. No one really mattered. Wade Barrett just kind of still mattered, even though he was trying to say that we were all equals. Then we had... What else do we have? 3MB, no one fucking matters. Aces and Eights, nobody really matters. Like, people do matter, though, but they don't really go off in single stuff. The Aces and Eights in TNA. Then we had, Immortal. People did matter. Actually, I'm gonna give them that, but just wasn't... Immortal kind of failed. But the Evolution, I think, was the best group I've seen. The Four Horsemen, great group. DX, great group. But Evolution was a genius. That was probably the most genius group that they've recently done. Because let's take a look at what they've done. You didn't just see them come out in factions and group, beating up everybody. That's the way it started. But they did smart things with them, because they actually had their own storylines. Like Randy Orton feuded with RVD, feuded with Mick Foley, and he feuded, I think, with Edge for the IC title, which is the Intercontinental title. And then Batista and feuded with Shawn. Oh, and he also feuded with Randy Orton. Also feuded with Shawn Michaels. Batista feuded with Shawn Michaels. Feuded with, I think he feuded with Chris Jericho. I'm not exactly sure though. But he did his own stuff too. I just can't really name it. But I remember he did feud with Shawn Michaels. Ric Flair, he didn't really do too much, and it made sense because he was just kind of like the manager role, which was fine with me. He did do his own stuff though. Randy Orton when he left the group, Shawn Michaels, that kind of stuff. Triple H, own stuff. Kevin Nash, Booker T, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton when he left the group. Then when Batista left the group, I had to spoil that for you. Then who else did he feud with? I always say Kevin. Goldberg. I think Batista had a feud with Kane when he was in the group, and that was pretty much it. But that's what I liked about it. Everyone had their own feuds. Everyone had a purpose in that group, and it brought the best out of everyone. That made Randy Orton what he was today. That made what Batista was. That made Ric Flair, it made him better. And Triple H, it made him better. So I think, though, the Evolution is a great group, and I think in the future it should go into the Hall of Fame. But I don't really know if they're going to do that, because Batista right now is an MMA, and he might not want to come back to the WWE anytime soon. But we'll see. Batista might consider going back to WWE just for that one night. Because I think Batista Evolution definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. It made everybody stars, and you wouldn't see. I think Randy Orton maybe would not have been as big of a star as he was now. I think Evolution was a great way to get Batista over and Randy Orton over. And then at WrestleMania 20, Evolution, all the members except for Triple H, it was just Batista, Ric Flair, and Randy Orton, defeated the Rock and Saw Connection, which is the Rock and Mick Foley. And as Evolution became more dominant, so did Triple H's ego, because after Randy Orton won the world title, he was kicked out of Evolution. And after Batista won the Royal Rumble in 2005, tension started to occur between Batista and Triple H. And that led to Batista turning on Triple H. Like, Batista, oh, hold on, one thing, had a choice. He could have gone to SmackDown, and he could have faced JBL for the WWE Championship. Or he could have stayed on Raw and faced Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. And Triple H was trying to manipulate Batista to go to SmackDown. I remember, I think he paid JBL to run Batista over. Well, attempt to run Batista over. And so he would get so mad at JBL, he would want that payback to get JBL and face him at Mania. Then, that was that. But then it failed because in the build-up promo, that rivalry package, I guess Batista overheard Triple H and Ric Flair said that the smart thing for Batista is for him to go to SmackDown, and I liked it when he was just about to sign the contract to go to SmackDown, and Triple H and Flair had the thumbs up. Batista had his thumbs up, then he just put his thumbs down, and he said, "I'm staying right here on Raw." He signed the contract and power bombs Triple H through the table. That was awesome. But then we get to the match itself. And during Triple H's entrance, you have Motorhead playing Triple H's theme song. So now we have Triple H defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Batista. And this match happened at WrestleMania 21 on April 3rd, 2005. And the commentators for this match were Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross. It wasn't the greatest match, but it was decent. I think this match gave Batista his first title win. I honestly think, though, that Batista didn't deserve to beat Triple H. I think Randy Orton deserved it more. But, because Randy Orton didn't really get those wins, Batista kind of got, fair treatment. But, who cares, right? But, this match wasn't bad. Triple H did a high knee, and that drove Batista outside the ring. And then there was a great thing where Ric Flair choked Batista with his coat, and then Jim Ross was like, what does he think? What does the referee think happened to Flair's coat? He got hot. I thought that was a great line. And then he bounced his head off the steps. And he walked on the engine back, drove it into the barricade, drove it into the ring apron. He gave him a spine buster. He gave him face plants. It was just all Triple H in the beginning. Ric Flair would just get involved, choking him. Then eventually Batista would start to come back. He would do a sidewalk slams. He threw Triple H over the corner. That spot that he likes to do where he goes to the corner, then he flips over. I don't know why he likes that spot. You can honestly injure yourself, but at least he knows how to land it. Then Batista tried to throw Triple H to the steps, but Triple H reversed it. Triple H went to give him the pedigree on the steps, but Batista reversed it and slingshotted him into the post. That busted Triple H open, and Batista really worked on that wound. He bounced with Triple H's head off the steps, kicked him in the back of the head. He did everything he could. Then Triple H went outside the ring. Then Batista punched Ric Flair. Triple H tried to use a chair, but the referee took it away, but he got slingshot outside the ring. Ric Flair tried to come in with the world title, but Batista gave him the spine buster. Then Triple H hit him off the skull with the world title. He tried to get the victory right there, but Batista kicked out. Then Triple H went for the pedigree, but when he hooked it and he tried to like actually do the move, Batista overpowered it, and he did like an inverted slam and hit the Batista bomb on Triple H for the win and won his first World Heavyweight Championship. I thought that was absolutely fine, because you built Batista up to win the Royal Rumble, and then you had him go on an amazing win, and then you had him beat Triple H, so I think that's fine, because he was built up properly. And it's kind of a shame that Batista's kind of gone, because when he was a heel, he was just an awesome heel. He was just like, he would have security guards. He like insulted people. I remember that promo he cut before WrestleMania 26, when he's like, he's like, all I don't care about you. All I care about is money. But he's like, when I look at you, I don't see fans. I don't even see people. I see money, dollar signs. Well, some of you, a lot of dollar signs, because some of you have to pay for 2 seats because you're so fat. That was a great line right there. And I liked it how he's like, I didn't hear you when you cheered me, and I don't hear you when you boo me. He was just a great heel. I don't know why they didn't, like, I understand you gotta change your heel, but you gotta change from face to heel sometimes. But when he's a heel, he's just awesome. He knows how to get you to hate you, and that's exactly what I like about Batista. He really knew how to be a heel. He wasn't just a monster, but he had good mic skills. So I thought that was great. So now the next superstar that we're going to talk about for Mania, let me just scroll down a little bit here. I'm going to go up a little. Okay, the next person is Shawn Michaels. And it gives you another little bit of background information. Like, Shawn Michaels was born and raised in Texas, and while he was in high school, he became a wrestling fan. If you watch my review of the greatest rivalries between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, you would already know that, and his family wasn't into it at that time. Then, he also, I forgot to write the Jim Ross. Jim Ross said that he also demonstrated natural instincts that guys work for years to acquire, which I thought was cool. And Shawn Michaels started working with Marty Jannetty as a team, and you know that today that the team was called the Rockers when they came to the WWF in the mid-80s, 1980s, and they competed in 3 WrestleManias. And Chris Jericho said that he loved the Rockers, and still to this day he thinks it's his favorite team, and they're the reason he loves wrestling. And then the narrator starts giving like introduction when Shawn Michaels became a singles competitor when he turned on Marty Jannetty you know, when he was in the barber shop with Brutus the Barber Beefcake, I think his name was. If I have his name on, forgive me. When Shawn Michaels kicks Marty Jannetty and he throws him through the glass window. I thought that was awesome. Oh, come on. I'm gonna move this over in case you guys can't see me. And then at WrestleMania 10, Shawn Michaels became noticed when he fought Razor Ramon in a ladder match for the undisputed Intercontinental Championship, and that's how he got the name Mr. WrestleMania. Everybody knows that. That was a great match. And then Chris Jericho said that every move that Shawn Michaels did made the match watchable, and that on that night he became the showstopper. And Shawn Michaels said that everything in that match had to do with timing, and people were wondering who the real Intercontinental Champion was. And Shawn Michaels and Diesel at WrestleMania 11 was voted Match of the Year in 2005. The main event at WrestleMania 12 was Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart in the 60-minute Iron Man match. That's my favorite match of all time. Then Shawn Michaels said that to have a classic match for the world title at WrestleMania isn't something that just doesn't happen all the time. I agree with him. William Regal's been in this business a while. He hasn't had one yet. So I think that he was lucky to have it when he did. Let me just go scroll down a little bit. What's going on? Where's my fucking mouse? Oh, come on. Okay. And Pat Patterson says that was one of the greatest matches he ever watched. And Vince McMahon said that you have to make sacrifices in businesses, and it was a thrill for Vince and Shawn Michaels to do the Iron Man match. And then when DX formed, it started the Attitude Era, and Chris Jericho thought it was funny when Shawn Michaels stuck the Canadian flag up his nose, because I guess that was when Bret Hart and Triple H were having the match, which I played on WWE 13, and that's when he did it, and I thought that was great. Jim Ross said that the showstopper isn't just a catchphrase, that Shawn Michaels is the main event. And then the name later starts giving like more background, and he said that Shawn Michaels had to retire because of a back injury, and he left after WrestleMania 14 when Stone Cold defeated him for the WWF for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. And Shawn Michaels, after he left, changed his lifestyle, and he had the passion to come back to the WWE. And I honestly agree, though, that Shawn Michaels changed his lifestyle. He was like a complete religious Christian now. He was I think he was on like some sort of drugs when he came back, because he just looked different. Not because he got older. He just looked like he was a new person when he came back. He wasn't like the Shawn Michaels back then. And I think, though, when he got injured, I'm not saying it's great to get injured, but it was kind of a good thing for him, because it made him realize that he had to clean up his act. And he did that. And I think, though, that Shawn Michaels, if he didn't get injured, he probably would have done those drugs, and he probably wouldn't be as big as he is today. And then Vince McMahon said that when Shawn Michaels returned, he was better than he was 4 years ago, and when he won the world title at Survivor Series 2002, it was different, and Shawn realized that he gets the torch again. And Chris Jericho said that Shawn Michaels is a genius when it comes to wrestling. And then we have the match, and before I review the match, I have to go drink my Pepsi. I'll be right back. Good Pepsi. Okay. Let's get to the review of this match now, because we're all partners in crime. Now this match is Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho at WrestleMania, and this match happened at WrestleMania 19, March 3rd, 2003. And the commentators for this match were Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross. Now I gotta give these guys a round of applause. And I have to pick up my list now, which fucking went over here, but makes me have to get up and get it. Now this match was amazing. Like, you were talking about a technical wrestling match. It had a story, and it had a storyline too. The storyline was that Chris Jericho wanted to beat Shawn Michaels. He idolized Michaels as a kid, and then when people said that he was going to be the next Shawn Michaels, hold on, I'm botching my lines. he used to be acknowledged about that. That used to be a compliment, but it's not anymore. He wants to be the first Jericho. And I remember he was hurt in what was her name, Stacy Kibler, and he hit her with the chair, and he was Chris Jericho, and I think it was Christian was gonna take him out, but Michaels tried to make the save, and he hit him off the head. He's like, "You tried to be the hero, Shawn Michaels, but it didn't work this time." And he says he wants to end his career at Mania. Michaels sweet chin music him on the way up, and he accepted. Everything was just great about that. And when he attacked him at the Rumble, great. They really built this match up awesome. This match was amazing. It started off with chain wrestling at first, and it was great. Then it picked up. Chris Jericho was outside the ring. Shawn Michaels went for a dropkick, but he failed. Then he did a crossbody over the top rope. Then they fought outside the ring, and the referee was telling Michaels to get back in the ring, and he took his eyes off the prize, and he went for the dropkick, but Jericho did the walls of Jericho outside the ring. Then he broke the referee's count, and then he did the missile dropkick and hit Shawn Michaels. Then he says, "You're not better." He was talking trash, saying, "You're not better than me. You're not better than me." Then he started dominating Shawn. Then Shawn Michaels started to come back. And then at one point, Chris Jericho mocked Shawn Michaels by doing his clothesline, then his kick up. Then he mocked his taunt when he went like that, and he bent over. But Shawn Michaels did it better, and he did the original Shawn Michaels. And Michaels started to fight back. He did like big back body drops, everything he could. Jericho tried to go for the walls of Jericho, but he failed. Then Chris Jericho then looked awesome in this match. He was just great. He hit the lion sword on Shawn Michaels. He didn't get the pinfall. Michaels went for the Hurricanranish, but then Jericho got the walls of Jericho in, and Michaels got out of it. Jericho did like a elbow off the ropes when he was standing up. Then Then Jericho went for the switch in music, and he hit it, which was awesome. And then he goes for the pin, but he failed, and that was just awesome right there. Awesome stuff. Then Michael started to come back and did a high cross body off the ropes and threw some right hands at him. Then he started, and then he did everything he could to come back. Jericho then he hit a high cross body, and no, then Jericho went for a back suplex, but Shawn Michaels countered to a cross body. Went for the elbow drop, but Chris Jericho threw the referee in, which caused Michaels to lose his balance and get hit where you got the turnbuckle right into his balls. Went for the superplex. Michaels countered into like a face first superplex. Hit the elbow. Then he went for the sweet chin music. He missed, and Jericho got in the walls of Jericho again. And then he pulled him away from the ropes. Then he got to the ropes right after. Then Jericho was like, he tapped out. He was so upset. Michaels hit the sweet chin music. Went for the win. But Jericho kicked out. Then everyone was so exhausted. Michaels did roll-ups and cradles. Then Jericho threw Michaels into the turnbuckle, and he does that flip where his back hurts. Then Jericho tried to capitalize, but Michaels counted into a roll-up for the win, and that was just amazing right there. Good stuff. What really was awesome about this match was when Jericho and Michaels shook hands. Then Jericho low-blowed Shawn, and he just left, and that was just amazing. This match, just everything was perfect about it. It was just a great match, and I really, really liked it. And I think this just tells everything, that this proves that Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania, because this match, it was hyped up, but it wasn't the main event. I think it was probably the middle, and it just ended up being a great match. And I honestly think it was a great match. That's just that. You had wrestling. What else more can you ask for? A good wrestling match. And it was technical. I was a fan of it. I loved it. And now we're gonna get on to the person that really makes me want to watch WrestleMania, and I think you know who I'm talking about. It's not Shawn Michaels. It's The Undertaker. And Undertaker debuted at the 1990 Survivor Series And you know how that went down. He was on, I think, Ted DiBiase's team at Survivor Series. And then he was with Brother Love as a manager, but it didn't work. And then he was with Paul Bearer, and then he made The Undertaker who he was today. And then after that, he made his WrestleMania debut against Superfly Jimmy Snuka. And the following when fans were taken by his dark and mysterious nature, and they showed fear, respect, and awe. And then a year later at Survivor Series, November 27th, 1991, Undertaker defeated Hulk Hogan to win his first ever World Wrestling Federation Championship. Then at WrestleMania, Undertaker established total dominance nation when he had that undefeated streak. At that time, I think this video came out in 2008, so I think he was 16-0. But now he's 20-0, and he's gonna go 21-0 this year against CM Punk. Everyone knows that's gonna happen. And Undertaker is great. He really makes WrestleMania what it is, to be honest with you. Like, what I think though, if Taker didn't appear at Mania this year, I would not bet. Well, I'm kind of not excited for Mania, but I am excited because I get to see the streak. Because everyone says this, that you don't get to see a title change at Mania. I mean, the streak is bigger than the title at Mania. To be honest with you, if I was booking it, Taker would be main event in every WrestleMania. No questions asked. Because then it gives you the factor that maybe the streak could end. Which is what I honestly think they should do. If the streak's going to end, you have to make it the main event. Let me explain to you why. Because if you make it, let's just for example, this is what's gonna happen. Let's just say Undertaker and John Cena were gonna have a match at Mania, and you had Cena in the streak. One, you're gonna get a lot of hate, and I think though that if you didn't have that match, main event Mania, everyone would be fucking silent. Everyone would be silent. No one would even say a word. That's honestly what I think though what would happen at Mania. That if you had the streak end by Cena, everyone would be silent. Punk, silent. Everyone's just going to be silent because they're going to be in shock that the streak ended. So you have to have it main event Mania. Because if you don't, then you're in trouble. But let's get now, because oh, come on. Why does it keep doing this to me? And now it talks about Randy Orton a little bit. Talks about how he was a new superstar that won't let me finish what I'm gonna say. But that's not who wanted to get noticed by destroying all the WWE legends when he became known as the Legend Killer. He would take out guys like legends, Mick Foley, Jake the Snake Roberts, Fabulous Moolah. I think he probably RKO'd Mae Young. Jerry the King Lawler. I think I said Jake the Snake Roberts already. They said that he took out The Rock. Anybody. Ric Flair. Those legends. Mick Foley, I think I said. And then he would feel like the ultimate legend if he could beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And he would. And I didn't really mind the build-up, actually. I think the build-up was actually great. You had Randy Orton slap The Undertaker in the face, and he's like, you woke up the devil inside, and I thought that was great. And then you had Cowboy Bob Orton try to beg Undertaker to show Randy Orton mercy, but he wasn't having it, and it was a setup to get Randy Orton to RKO The Undertaker. Great stuff. And this started a great feud between Randy Orton and The Undertaker. So let's just get on with the match. So now we have, and they call this, and this is marked as the Legend versus Legend Killer match. It's Undertaker versus Randy Orton. This match happened at WrestleMania 21, April 3rd. It wasn't Undertaker's greatest match, but it wasn't a bad match. I think this match kind of made Orton who it was. Um, Randy Orton showed quickness in this match. This is the old Randy Orton we miss. Quickness. And one spot, though, that I think could have really injured Randy Orton was when he went for the RKO on The Undertaker and he countered and he went right to the announce table. That looked like that could have hurt him. But then Taker did his typical leg drop. I think the reason, though, I'm so into when Taker wrestles now is that I don't get to see him wrestle as often as I used to. That's why I think I look forward to Mania this year, because you never get to see Taker wrestle, Undertaker wrestle, unless it's at Mania. Well, we did come out for the 1000th episode of Raw with Kane to fend off the Suicide Dive Wrestling calls them, the Job Squad, which would be like I think it was Drew McIntyre, Unico. I'm not even gonna talk about it. We're talking about WrestleMania. We don't need to talk about those guys. Well, Jinder Mahal's not bad. Drew McIntyre, they're not bad. But anyways, but then you don't get to see Taker wrestle. That's why I was overreacted. But then Randy took control when he drop kicked Taker. He went into the barricade, started doing headlocks, anything he could to keep the Undertaker dominant. But Taker started to do moves. He actually got the Death Valley drop. No, it was like that submission hold. I forget what it's called though. I honestly forget what it's called. So, pardon me, but it's like an old submission move. He will grab your neck on the back like he's going to do that reverse DDT that Christian does. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Undertaker, was about, I think the referee got knocked down, but I forget how he did. And then Cowboy Bob Orton came down to the ring and hit Undertaker with his cast, and he thought that was gonna be it, but when Undertaker kicked out, then oh, by the way, when Undertaker came out, by the way, he was like floating, but I think it was just rigged. He probably was on something like one of those old WrestleMania things, but I just wanted to bring that up. Then Undertaker went for the choke slam. Randy Orton hit the RKO, and as you mentioned, actually, hold on. Then Randy Orton went for the Tombstone Piledriver, and then Undertaker reversed it into a Tombstone of his own, getting the victory, and becoming, it was 13-0 at WrestleMania. And by the way, Taz and Michael Cole did commentary for this match. I forgot to mention it, but yeah, that was a good match. And it started off a great feud between Orton and Taker when you had him burn him in the casket. Then you had him drive Taker into like the SmackDown Titantron, and you had them get possession of the urn, and then you had the big payoff of a feud inside Hell in a Cell against Orton and Taker, which I did review, and I thought that was great. So I thought that was a great way to start off that feud. And now we have another superstar at Mania, which is Edge. And they give another background on Edge. And Edge loved wrestling as a kid. And when he attended WrestleMania 6 and saw the Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan in the main event, I think you can see him in the crowd. I can't really tell you where he is, but he's about to. It's like there's like an old clip of Edge talking about it in 1999 with Christian, but Christian doesn't say anything. But Edge said that his mom managed to get WrestleMania tickets in the 11th row ringside, and he wanted to be a WWF/E, because I'm putting /E because he was in both when it was WWF and E, superstar ever since. And then the narrator starts talking, and he said that Edge won an essay contest to receive wrestling training, and then he began working in independent promotions to pursue his childhood dream. And then Edge debuted as a mysterious outsider, and he would enter through the crowd, and then he would just disappear quickly. And after his matches, and then that decides to be a dick again. Wow, thank you for being a dick. So he noticed, and he got noticed when he was with Gangrel and the Brood, and I think the Brood was the Hardys, which is Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. But he didn't really get noticed until Edge and Christian became the lone tag team, kind of like going off in singles career. Instead they went to the lone tag team, and Edge and Christian won the World Tag Team titles at WrestleMania 16 in a triangle ladder match, which I reviewed. It was against the Hardys and the Dudleys, and hold on, I lost my place. Edge achieved his childhood dream of competing at WrestleMania. Then 1 year later, Edge and Christian won the tag team titles at WrestleMania 17, defeating the same teams. And then Edge became a singles wrestler. He would started to win singles titles like the Intercontinental title, the WCW United States title, that stuff like that. Then Edge started dating Lita, which started a rivalry with Matt Hardy. When he started to break the rules. The rivalry with Matt Hardy, though, I remember the ladder match, the matches that they had when they had the cage match, the match at SummerSlam, and the ladder match on Raw. They had epic matches, and I really liked the matches. Made them who they were. Then when he started breaking the rules, he became known as the Rated R Superstar. And at WrestleMania 21, Edge won the Money in the Bank ladder match, and he cashed it in on John Cena at New Year's Revolution, and won the WWE Championship. And this was fucking stupid. I don't understand why they did this. They took off the WWE Championship at the 2006 Royal Rumble, and had John Cena beat him again. That's fucking stupid. And then Edge invoked his rematch clause, but Mick Foley, hold on, gotta go over again. Thank you for being a dick. Thanks for being a dick. I really appreciate that. Now you're fucking freezing every time okay. Cost him the title, and this set up the match between Edge and Mick Foley at WrestleMania 22. So maybe it wasn't bad that Edge lost the title, because then we would have never been able to see this match, but you could have made it for the title. I would have preferred Edge to walk in as champion. You could have had Cena do something else, like the Triple H's match at Mania, just be a match. But he chose not to do that, but it's fine the way it was. I was just mad. But now this match is probably my favorite match on this DVD. We have Edge versus Mick Foley in a hardcore match. And this happened at WrestleMania 22, April 2nd, 2006. Epic. This match was perfect. It was set up, like Edge said this, that Mick Foley went from being the hardcore legend to a cuddly teddy bear. That was great. And then Mick Foley said that he woke something inside of him that's been sleeping for too long. They did the concertos to each other. It was just great. I loved it. And then what happened was you had a great storyline, Edge and Lita. And I like the way the match started out. You had Mick Foley come out in his normal attire, but it was a black vest this time. And Edge just started dominating, hitting him with signs, hitting him with and by the way, Michael Cole, Jerry the King Lawler, Jim Ross, and Joey Styles in commentary for this match. And Edge hit him with signs and everything. And then Edge hit him with the spear, like, before 5 minutes. And at the time I was like, is this really going to be the match right here? But then you see Edge's arms start to bleed, and you're like, what the heck? But then you see Mick Foley take the jacket off, and he wrapped barbed wire around himself. Then he started whipping Edge with the barbed wire, gouging it into that shoulder, doing whatever he could. Then he did a swinging neck breaker on the floor, and it's falls count anywhere in hardcore matches. So he tried to pin him, but he failed. Then he tried to do a knee into the steps, but Edge countered to a hip toss, and his knee hit the steps real hard. Then he tossed him into the steps, and he went over the steps. And then Edge tried to grab a chair, but he didn't get to really use the chair. Then Edge was putting lighter fluid on Mick Foley. Then Mick Foley came back, and he grabbed Barbie, and he tried, which is a baseball bat with barbed wire wrapped around it. And I should mention that they brought a table, and Edge slammed Mick Foley's head onto like the steel on the stage. Then Mick Foley tried to do the chair, and when Mick Foley was hitting Edge with the barbed wire earlier in the match, Lita tried to like do a sleeper hold to him, and Mick Foley clotheslined both Edge, and Lita got like concussions. And Mick Foley tried to do the concerto, but I forget what happened. I think he countered somehow. Then Edge grabbed Barbie, started hitting Mick Foley with it, and then he got busted open. He hit him in the ribs and then the head, gouged him with it. Then he went and he grabbed a bag, and it was filled with thumbtacks. He tried to do a pile driver, but Mick Foley countered, and Edge got thumbtacks covered in his back. It was just everywhere, and that was great. Then Mick Foley grabbed Bobby, and he hit Edge with it, and then he started gouging him, and he hit him with bat when he was down. Then Mick Foley grabbed Mr. Socko, and he wrapped barbed wire around Mr. Socko, and he did the mandible claw to Edge, and but then Lita interfered, but he did it to her, and her lip got busted open. Then Mick Foley put the lighter fluid on the table. Then Lita hit Edge Mick Foley right in the kneecap, with the Barbie. Then she lit the table on fire. Then Edge speared Mick Foley through the table on fire that was on fire, and then Edge covered Mick Foley for the win, and he was just shaking after. He had the pin cushions. He went through tables. Everything was just great about this match. I loved this match. It was a great match. And then you had Edge standing there, and Mick Foley leaving into the sunset. Great match. This is probably my favorite match on this DVD. And then it says this disc will continue on disc 2. Yeah, it kind of says stuff like that. So let me get down and scroll down to disc 2. So now the next person it showed that video package again. The next person to come up to Mania was Bret the Hitman Hart, and we found some background info about him. Bret the Hitman Hart is a member of a wrestling family. You know, the Harts, Owen Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, David Hart Smith. I think they considered Tyson Kidd part of the family because he was in the dungeon. And his father, Stu Hart, owns a wrestling company called Stampede Wrestling, and that was the training ground for some of the WWE's greatest superstars. I don't know which ones they were though. Roddy Piper said they're all almost great pros wrestlers. I don't know what that means. I don't remember why I wrote that. And Bret Hart said that he wrestled because his dad wanted and expected him to wrestle, and when he was 19, he was 19 and was a referee, and he was asked to fill in for someone's match but he didn't want to wrestle the match. And then he started going on the road wrestling, and decided to give it a chance. So I guess if that stuff didn't happen, you wouldn't probably see Bret Hart today. He probably wouldn't be anything. We probably wouldn't be having this conversation. And then Bret debuted in the WWF in the mid-1980s. And Vince McMahon... Oh, and by the way, his name's not spelled Bret. It's B-R-E-T-T. Just like Shawn, when he was in a different company, was Cena. But Vince McMahon said that he wanted as much talent as they could, and he saw Bret Hart as a local point. I don't know what a local point is, so you have to excuse me on that one. And then Bret Hart, and they mentioned how Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart became known as the Hart Foundation, and that they won the tag team titles 2 times. And Bret Hart said that he thought and still believed that the Hart Foundation was the best team at that time and deserved the tag team championships. And Vince McMahon thought that the Hart Foundation were the greatest teams that the WWF ever had. And they said that Bret Hart wrestled at Wrestlemania 12 times, and he wrestled his first match at WrestleMania 8 against Roddy Piper for the Intercontinental Championship. And Roddy Piper said that that was one of the toughest matches he ever had, and the first time in 17 years someone pinned his shoulders down to the mat. That's what he said. And later that year, Bret Hart defeated Ric Flair for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. And Bret Hart said if someone told him when he was a kid he would be the World Wrestling Federation Champion, he wouldn't have believed him. Then they talk about how the main event at WrestleMania 12 was Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. I think I'm being interrupted. Hold on, I'm getting a text. I think this is a text. No, it's not a text. It's a YouTube daily update. Guess I'll show you. I'll show pictures. Okay. Nothing important. Stuff that I already know about. Good stuff right there. Okay. That's pretty much it. So let me get back to this DVD roll as I... Bret Hart said that he loved the drama in the Iron Man match, and it was one of his favorite matches of all time as well as mine. It is my favorite match of all time because of the effort him and Shawn put into that match. And at WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart fought Stone Cold Steve Austin in an I Quit match. Well, it was a submission match, they called it. But I call it an I Quit match because you had to say it in the microphone. And Vince McMahon said that if you were in the room with Bret Hart, you came out the better of it, win or lose. Because Bret Hart made you look like $1 million. And then that was it for Bret Hart. I honestly think though that I saw an article that Eric Bischoff said that Bret Hart isn't really relevant in WWE today, and I can agree with them though, but I didn't actually read the article because you think about it, Bret Hart can't wrestle because he's just kind of old now. But I think though that Bret Hart kind of is because you see Tyson Kidd, like the Hart Foundation or the Hart Dynasty. I honestly think though that Bret Hart kind of is kind of relevant because he could probably like make CM Punk worth $1 million. He doesn't have to fight him. They can cut good promos with them. I think Bret Hart can do stuff with creative and stuff if they let him. So then, for the match that the only thing I didn't like about this was the match they put on for Bret Hart that they should have put a different match on. It was Yokozuna with Mr. Fuji, defending the World Wrestling Federation champ. Oh, and he was with Jim Cornette too. And he was defending the World Wrestling Federation Championship against Bret the Hitman Hart with Roddy Piper as the special guest referee. Yokozuna, I will admit, he's an okay worker. The reason it just wasn't a great match, because I think though Bret Hart had competed earlier in the night against Owen Hart, This match, by the way, happened at WrestleMania 10, March 20th, 1994. I just didn't really like the match. It was boring. There was nothing to it, and it was like it wasn't really a Bret Hart worthy match. The only probably good thing was when Roddy Piper punched Jim Cornette. Then Yokozuna misses the splash, and Bret Hart pins him and wins the title. Yeah, that just sucked. They could have had a match on here, like, put the Piper match on here, put the Owen Hart match on here. You don't have to put the Iron Man match, but put a match better than that on for Bret. Because that just honestly, I think, though, that made Bret look like he wasn't WrestleMania worthy. Now it shows The Rock. And, hold on, let me find it. The Rock is a part of a wrestling family that includes Rocky Johnson. His dad was wait, did he say this? I think this is something he said. Yep, The Rock said this. So The Rock said that his dad was an amazing wrestler and was the first black wrestler in Georgia, Florida, Texas, and Tennessee. And, well, I think he was the first black champion. I forgot to put the champion part. And he made the crowd go nuts, and he deserved to be champion for that. And Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas were the first black tag team champions, and thought his dad was awesome. He also had a grandfather named Peter Maravilla, and he was the first. Peter Maravilla was the first. No, Peter Maravilla. Sorry, I botched. And Peter Maravilla was the first Samoan wrestler to become known on a worldwide basis, and there was a lot of advantages since The Rock was half black and half Samoan. I guess that's a good sign. And The Rock debuted as Rocky Maivia in the WWF at Survivor Series 1996, and he won the Intercontinental Championship early, and the fans after that just turned on him. They're like, I don't like you anymore. Then at WrestleMania 13 was his first WrestleMania, and he smiled a lot and told that you should smile a lot, and he said he's happy to be there, but he wants to be intense because it's WrestleMania, the place where everybody works for it works to be. And he went out there as the youngest Intercontinental Champion, and the fans booed him out of the building. And I think The Rock said this, by the way, and he appreciated that because he realized what he was doing wrong. So he decided to let the company let him be himself. So maybe if that didn't happen, maybe The Rock would have never been as big as he is today. You never know. So then his promos interested the fans, but his charisma and in-ring work put them over the top, and The Rock said that everyone started to like him, and he deserved to be at WrestleMania 14. Then The Rock won the WWE it's being a dick again. And then The Rock won the WWF Championship when he beat Mankind with help from Vince McMahon at Survivor Series 1998, and that caused The Rock to join the corporation. I actually played that match in WWE 13. I really liked playing that match. And he won the fans over with his interview and became a big-time superstar. And then The Rock knew the importance of WrestleMania. WrestleMania is The Rock said this, by the way, that WrestleMania is the biggest event of the year, and all the hard work with the WWE superstars do. Oh, by the way, this was taken in 1999. By the way, does accumulates at WrestleMania. If you're a WWE superstar, your goal should be to go to WrestleMania. And then and The Rock had three, and it mentions how The Rock had three classic WrestleMania matches with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Rock thought it was amazing to work with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then it mentions how The Rock had 7 classic matches at WrestleMania, and one of them was at WrestleMania 18 against Hulk Hogan. And I've already reviewed that match, so I don't really need to talk about that. I've already said the date and everything. I think the only thing I didn't say was the commentators for that match were Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross. But other than that, I reviewed everything else, so I'm just going to go on to the next thing. Now we have John Cena. And they give a little bit documentary about him. And John Cena was born in West Newbury, Massachusetts, as a huge wrestling fan, and he decided to become a WWE superstar, and he is the face of the WWE today, which is why he fucking made events every pay-per-view. And then John Cena made a billion Billboard top 20 album, because he did make an album. He made that song where your time is up, my time is now. This is how we roll. I forget the other songs though. Those are the only ones I mainly listen to. And he was on number 15, so that's not the impressive thing, but at least he made on the list. And he starred in the Marine and made hundreds of appearances on talk shows and on charity events. And he entertained the troops in Iraq, which is good stuff that Cena does. And John Cena's dad said that John Cena did this as a kid, and he was making money out of it. He used to dress different, and that caused because people used to pick on him, so it caused him to lift weights, and he decided to become a wrestler. And I bet if those people saw him today, they'd say, Cena, you're fucking overpowered. You're fucking overpowered. You're fucking overpowered. And then it talks about how John Cena graduated from Springfield College, and he worked independent wrestling, and he got the call from WWE, and he started in OVW as the prototype. Then in June 2002, he made his debut wrestling Kurt Angle, which was a great match. After he began his rapping gimmick, and at WrestleMania 20, which was his first WrestleMania, in Madison Square Garden, he defeated the Big Show for the United States Championship, and he became a 3-time United States Champion, and he made his own spinner belt, and then he became, it says I think like 5-time, I think, but I'm putting 10-time because he's still wrestling today, WWE Champion, and his challengers were some of the biggest guys in wrestling, and he was just overpowered. He was just overpowered. And Vince McMahon said that John Cena is a different aspect of WrestleMania. You wonder how he is going to give everything they have, and John Cena had done that on many occasions. And one of his classic matches they talked about was John Cena and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 23 in the main event. Vince McMahon said that John Cena comes to WrestleMania as a valued star, and he leaves more valued. And he had his and then they said that he had his first WWE Championship match at WrestleMania 21 against JBL, which I am now going to talk about. So, now we have JBL defending the WWE Championship against John Cena. And this match happened at WrestleMania 21 on April 3rd, 2005. This match wasn't bad. It just kind of felt like a match, though. And they could have been a little bit better, but it wasn't bad. And I like the build to it, where you had, like, John Cena, when you had at that time Orlando Jordan, um, when JBL had that group, the Cabinet. I forget who else was in it, but you had JBL cost John Cena the United States Championship. And help Orlando Jordan win, and have him destroy John Cena's Spinner United States Championship and bring back the old United States Championship. And John Cena and Teddy Long wouldn't let John Cena get his hands on JBL, and JBL would try to get him provoke Cena, and then Teddy Long said that if JBL touches Cena, Cena can strike back, and Cena would try to get JBL so mad to punch him, so he would punch him, and he vandalized his limousine, but then he had police officers come down and arrest Cena. Then he finally put his hands on him, so I really liked that he did that. Then you have the match, and you had JBL actually come out with police officers and his limousine, and you had him drop and you had him drop money that had JBL's face on it, which I liked. And this match, like I said, and he had Orlando Jordan leave. He was supposed to come out with Orlando Jordan, but he had him leave. And then this match, it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't bad. I really liked that one-handed spinebuster JBL did to Cena, the neckbreaker on the floor. He actually did Damian Sandow's finisher today, where he does the neckbreaker with his hands. That kind of stuff. It wasn't bad. It was okay. JBL ended up going for the clothesline from hell, but Cena counted into an FU for the win. Then he won the WWE title, and he celebrated with the fans after. And then you got that shitty-looking title with the spinner, and then it changed to non-spinner, and then you have the one with the Rock, which doesn't look like a bad championship. But you don't even see the Rock. Cena's probably going to win again, then we're going to see that spinner bout again. That's just what's going to happen. You guys watch. That's what's going to happen. So let's get back to this DVD. Now we have Rey Mysterio. So now let's get to Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is taking century old school wrestling, and he brought it into the new generation. And Rey Mysterio began wrestling at the age of 15, and he made his debut in the United States as a member of the ECW roster. And after this, he made a huge impact in WCW when he defeated Dean Malenko to win his first out of 8 in cruiserweight championships. Rey Mysterio made his debut into the World Wrestling Federation on SmackDown 2002, and then at WrestleMania 19 he had his first Mania match against Matt Hardy for the Cruiserweight Championship. Then at WrestleMania 20 he was in a tournament for the Cruiserweight Championship when he teamed up. Oh wait, hold on. Oh come on, where am I? I hate it when it does that. He was in a tournament for the Cruiserweight Championship. But he ended up losing. Okay, WrestleMania 20. But he lost, and then he teamed with Eddie Guerrero. And at No Way Out, they won the WWE Tag Team titles. And they had a match. It was champion versus champion at WrestleMania. And that started the feud between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. And after this, Eddie Guerrero ended up dying due to heart failure, which is kind of sad. And Rey Mysterio paid his respects by dedicating his Royal Rumble win in 2006 to Eddie Guerrero, which I thought was a great thing. And I think that's the main. And I liked that because that's why Rey Mysterio ended up winning the Rumble, and it was a great thing for Eddie and everybody. So then we have Rey Mysterio's match. We have Kurt Angle defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton. And this match happened at WrestleMania 22 on April 25th, 2006. This match didn't have bad build. We had Kurt Angle winning the World Championship in the Battle Royal because Batista ended up getting injured. And then the reason why Randy Orton was in this match was because he ended up getting Ray so mad he beat him. He challenged him to a match at No Way Out 2006, and he beat him. And then Ray got back in when Teddy Long added him back in. So then everyone earned their way in this match. But the match itself, you had Rey Mysterio get a band play, and I think they were in the True Story of WrestleMania. But I never got that. I meant to look up the name, but I completely forgot. They didn't play a song that bad though. It actually kind of fit Ray's. But the match could have been. The match was okay, but it could have been better. I think though that it could have been a little bit better, and you could have had better storylines going into it. And by the way, Taz and Michael Cole did a commentary for this match, but it wasn't bad. He had Kurt Angle doing the German suplexes to Ray, and he like flipped. You had Kurt Angle get the ankle lock on Rey Mysterio, and before the match started, Randy Orton hit Kurt Angle with the World Championship. You had Kurt Angle get the ankle lock in on Rey Mysterio, but Randy Orton distracted the referee with a chair, so when Ray tapped out, the referee didn't see it. So Kurt Angle got pissed. He attacked Randy Orton. He got Randy Orton, and then at one point he got Randy Orton the ankle lock, and Rey Mysterio started like tackling the referee. So and when Randy Orton tapped out, the referee didn't see it. Orton ended up hitting the RKO. Well, Ray ended up hitting the 619 and the splash and Kurt Angle, but Angle kicked out. Orton hit the RKO and Kurt Angle. Angle kicked out of that. Then Kurt Angle hit double German suplex on both Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio. Then Rey Mysterio threw Kurt Angle outside the ring. Then Mysterio hit the 619. Then Hurricane rolled Randy Orton up for the win and won his first ever World Championship in a feel-good moment. Then you had Chavo Guerrero and Vicky Guerrero come out and celebrate with Ray, which I thought was nice. And then we have Triple H as the next person that is the greatest superstars of WrestleMania. And Triple H was a bodybuilder in high school, in his high school days, and he was trained by Killer Kowalski, and he was in WCW under the name Terror Rising, and he joined the WWF under the name Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and he made his WrestleMania debut facing the Ultimate Warrior, which was a squash match. And Triple H says that you never forget your first WrestleMania, and I bet Triple H wished he could because he ended up losing to the Ultimate Warrior in a squash match. And after he lost. After that, he got some WrestleMania wins against Goldust and Owen Hart. And then when DX formed, like I said, it started the Attitude Era. And at WrestleMania 15, Triple H joined the corporation. And later that year, he won his first WWF Championship, defeated Mankind. I gotta get some Pepsi. Okay, where was I? And then Triple H said that if you have what it takes and you want to do it. You can be at the top and nobody can hold you back in the WWE unless you do steroids. Then you're screwed. And then Triple H today is in the game I think it says an 8 time, but today he's a 13-time World Heavyweight Champion, and he wrestled 7 times in the main event at WrestleMania. They said like 4 or something, but it's really 7. And they were all championship matches, and in May 2001 he tore his quad. Triple H said that his quad was completely torn off the bone, and everything in his knee exploded, not really. And after the surgery, the doctors weren't sure if he could come back, which made sense. And then Triple H returned on January 2002 at Madison Square Garden, which was one of the greatest Raw moments in the 1000s once they build up. And he won the 2002 Royal Rumble match, which earned him the right to face Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 18. Now, you have to excuse me because I don't really know the build-up, and I tried to find it, but it just didn't want to be found. So I'm sorry. But I'll get the match out. So now you have Chris Jericho defended the Undisputed Championship against Triple H, and this match happened at WrestleMania 18, March 17th, 2002. Like, the match wasn't bad, but the crowd was dead. The crowd was not into it. The crowd was silent. The reason why they were silent was because they didn't care. Well, they cared, like it was built up, but in the true story of WrestleMania, they even said this: it's not easy coming off The Rock and Hulk Hogan. The crowd went nuts for that match, and for this match, the crowd was just dead for this match. Nobody cared. They were just dead. You could just tell, though, too, because Triple H put the figure 4 leg lock on Chris Jericho, and the crowd usually goes, "Whoa!" But they didn't do anything. They were just like silent. And Triple H ended up throwing Jericho into the barricade. Then he suplexed him. No reaction. No reaction. Even when he was trying to pedigree Stephanie, there was no reaction. Stephanie McMahon, because she was with Chris Jericho. Even when he tried to pedigree Stephanie McMahon, no reaction. I actually will say though that the commentators were Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross, but there was just no reaction. And Jericho started dominating. He worked on the knee of Triple H because I guess Chris Jericho hit him with the sledgehammer, which re-injured his quad. Triple H was trying to come back, but anytime he would not do any offense, it would hurt his quad. Then Chris Jericho tried to go for the walls, but he couldn't on the announcer's table, but he failed. And then Triple H went for the pedigree, but Chris Jericho countered into a back body drop, and he went for the Spanish announcer's table. Then Triple H ended up getting back in the ring. He was trying to win the match, but then Stephanie McMahon brought a chair in. Triple H did a DDT on the chair. Tried to pin Chris Jericho, but he failed. And then Stephanie McMahon, then Triple H finally pedigreed Stephanie McMahon. The crowd was starting to get into it, but it wasn't enough. Chris Jericho hit Triple H off the skull with the chair. Tried to cheat to win, but he failed. Jericho went for the high cross body, but he got caught into a pedigree. And Triple H pinned him and won the Undisputed Championship. Not a bad match. Crowd was dead, though. No reaction. So that's that. The last person now we're going to talk about is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin grew up in Texas as a wrestling fan, and Stone Cold Steve Austin said that he remembered watching WCW and saw that gentleman Chris Adams was starting his own wrestling school, so he decided to start training, and he wrestled his first match in Sportatorium. And then the narrator talked about how Stone Cold debuted in WCW under the name Stunning Steve Austin, and he had both singles and tag team success. His tag team success was with Brian Pillman. Where is it? And then he ended up getting injured on a tour in Japan, and he got fired for that for some odd reason. Then Stone Cold briefly appeared in ECW, and he took advantage of the opportunity and started to cut some awesome promos. I watched those, and they were awesome. And then he got the call to go to the WWF. And Stone Cold Steve Austin said that the WWF, he said that he knew that the WWF was the place to be because it was the big leagues. And then Stone Cold debuted under the name The Ringmaster and was managed by Ted DiBiase. And by the time he debuted at WrestleMania, he started to call himself Stone Cold Steve Austin. And also that night he defeated Savio Vega, and then he won the King of the Ring tournament. And at WrestleMania 13, he fought Bret Hart in the submission match. And then Stone Cold said that when him and Bret went out there, they really worked well, and it was one of the greatest moments he ever had. And then at SummerSlam 1997, Stone Cold Steve Austin ended up getting a neck injury, which was at the hands of Owen Hart, which ended up being a career-threatening injury and kind of was the reason he had to step out of wrestling for a while. And that kind of started the rivalry between Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and one of the most entertaining rivalries in WWE history. And at WrestleMania 14, Stone Cold Steve Austin won the World Wrestling Federation Championship by defeating Shawn Michaels, and he became the hottest superstar in sports entertainment, which means he was very over. That doesn't mean he was actually hot. Then Stone Cold said that WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year, and all the wrestlers bring out the best in each other on that night. And they said that Stone Cold wrestled the biggest superstars the WWF, the World Wrestling Federation had to offer for the next 4 years, and he wrestled at 7 WrestleManias, and he fought The Rock 3 times. And Stone Cold thought that the feud between him and The Rock was very entertaining, and he had fun battling The Rock, and anytime they fought each other, they brought the best out of each other. And that was and that's that, because I can't really talk about the next match because it's The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 15, and I've already reviewed that. The only thing I will mention is I don't think I said that Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler were on commentary, and I did see that they had Stone Cold had his own wheat cereal, which was cool. I wish they still had that so I can go eat some, because I'm kind of hungry. I have cookies in my room, so I'll eat those. But that's pretty much it for this DVD review. I didn't think it was going to take me over an hour, but it did. I'm supposed to review the Undertaker's streak, but I don't think that's going to happen because I'm going away. Like I said, I'm not going to do review in Raw, but I will watch it when I get back from my trip. But I can't really say anything else about this Raw. About this this DVD though, because I can't review. I might not be able to review the Taker, so I'll think of something. But as for this DVD, it was very well done. Then they sort of actually at the end another video package about just kind of saying goodbye and showing us what all these guys did at Mania, and hopefully it will continue in the future. They definitely should do I think they should make another one? Yes, because I think there's some guys that deserve to get noticed, like CM Punk, because he's had some good Mania matches now himself. You can do the other guys again. I think Chris Jericho now deserves to get noticed. He's had some good Mania matches, but they did kind of notice him. And Bret Hart deserves another chance. Vince McMahon's had some good matches himself. You could do The Rock again. You could do Cena. You need to do those guys. But as for the match, it was great. As for this DVD, it was great. That was pretty much it for it. So now I've reviewed that DVD, so I'm gonna go upload this video, and I'll be back tomorrow. See you later.